And I had a customer walk into the store one day and they said, if you don't stop showing up in my Facebook feed, we're going to have a problem. Every time I turn around, I see your store popping up. So I was like, I guess it works. And, they weren't like super mad. They were just like, what are you doing? And I was just like, bring us your laundry. You'll stop seeing us.
Welcome to the Planet Laundry Podcast, brought to you by Planet Laundry, the magazine of the Coin Laundry Association. This edition of the Planet Laundry Podcast has been made possible by sponsorship from Speed Queen, the proven performer in laundry. Laundromat owners, are your days filled with repairs, rising utility costs, and dissatisfied customers? Well, Speed Queen can help change your routine. Here are 3 reasons to update your equipment: grow customer loyalty, simplify your life with technology, and say goodbye to high utility costs. Take a step forward to your new routine. Visit Speed Queen at go.speedqueencommercial.com/routine. This is the Planet Laundry Podcast. I'm your host and the editor of Planet Laundry Magazine, Bob Nieman. And today I'm with Waleed Cope, owner and operator of The Soapbox, which is a laundry, dry cleaning, and sneaker cleaning enterprise based in Brooklyn, New York. In addition to his work with The Soapbox, Waleed and his wife Jessica also manage their family's security agency, where they provide services to global corporations. Hey, Waleed, thanks so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Bob, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me and considering me to be on the podcast. Great honor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, listen, I know a little bit about your background. I knew you kind of grew up in the laundromat business. But can you please share a little of your professional background prior to starting The Soapbox?
Oh, sure. Be happy to. So it's been an eclectic road for me, but I kind of was in and out the laundry business as a kid because it's a family business. So we're second generation. But being in and out of it, and anybody who's worked in the family business before understands family dynamics. So there were times when I was like, hey, I need to take a break. So when I wasn't fully engaged in the laundry business, I was an elementary school teacher in a public school system here in New York City. Did that for about 8 years. While I was a school teacher, I got into real estate somewhat. And the goal for real estate was I needed funding to buy supplies and computers for the class, because anybody who knows the education system, there can be a challenge when it comes to additional funding. So I got into real estate, did that for a while. Then started working with Jessica, my wife, who's also my business partner at our third generation. We're in our third generation now. Wow. Of family-owned security business. And then from there, I transitioned right back into laundry full time.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well, what's your favorite aspect of the laundromat business? Because again, you said you've been in and out of it. It keeps drawing you back in. What's your favorite part of it?
It's twofold now, because our business is a little unique now. So we started originally with a self-service laundromat, traditional, and doing wash and fold drop off in the store. Then we transitioned into a large service base in the business, which we created The Soapbox, which was a separate brand from our self-service. So I have 2 favorite parts now. So with the self-service component, I love the interaction and the social component of the clients when they come in to do laundry. And they're there for a couple of hours, and you get to really engage with them. They bring their family sometime. It's just a great pleasure to be there and interact with them, listen to their stories, and just have great community building conversations. Mm-hmm. Then on the service side, it's less interaction, which I don't like. I really miss that client interaction from the self-service side. But the plus is it forces me to think different, innovate more, to figure out how can we give better experiences to our clients in a different way. So like when in the store, I can easily just say, it's a hot day, give everybody free water from, the vending machine, or, we have food delivered to the store, or pizza, whatever it might be. But when it's more of a service-based pickup and delivery, it forces me to think of these different ways. So I would say those are the 2 things I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Hey, I've seen in places on social media where you refer to yourself as a laundry pirate. Where does that come from? And can you explain it? Because I think it's cool, but I just want to hear where that came from.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Bob. I got that question from somebody on LinkedIn like a couple of months ago. And, It boils down to three things that I can pinpoint it to. One is one of my colleagues, Christopher Lockhead. He was a CMO at a large firm, and he writes about marketing and being different and how you set your brand apart and build these different categories for your brand. So that was one. The second was I visited the American Museum of Revolution and didn't realize the role that private piracy as well as pirates played during the role they played during the revolution. So they were privateers who were like ship captains who were
Right.
commissioned by the government to go out there and fight on their behalf. And then there were like, the kind of unlawful pirates who do their thing. And I didn't realize the role that it played during slavery, and it played to the freedom part of a lot of the slaves. And the third part was Steve Jobs said it best. Why join the Navy when you can be a pirate? And when I look at that, right? And listen, a lot of respect to all of our servicemen and those in the Navy. It has nothing to do with that.
Mhm.
It's just that they're different. And as a pirate, you get to be more agile. You can be fast. We can take bigger risks. We're not bound to the same rules. And, it kind of fit into the way we operate. Like if we look at the soapbox, we started doing things that were totally different than what the traditional laundromat was doing at the time. And it was a way to look at how we innovate, how we do things different. Like we were one of the early adopters to use DoorDash to do pickup and delivery here in the States. We do a lot of little different things with our clients as far as wowing them and using technology a lot. So the pirate thing just kind of stuck when we looked at all three of those aspects.
Right. It certainly speaks to the entrepreneurship of a lot of laundry owners and laundromat operators that way. So no, I think that's very, very neat, and I love that, and it certainly caught my eye.
Thank you.
No, you had just talked about one of your favorite aspects is the customer interaction, and being in the store and being part of the community. You're a huge proponent of customer service and customer support. Can you share maybe some simple, effective ways to really wow your customers?
Yeah. I think one of the simplest things that I think it's totally underrated is answering the phone.
Mm.
I'm so surprised when people call our store and they get one of our team members or even myself, because we use a voice over IP for our phone system. So we can route our calls anywhere we want, thanks to the internet. And I'm just always blown away when people are like, wow, you guys answer the phone. And I'm like, why wouldn't we? And they're like, well, we call other places and like either no one answers or they get voicemail and no one ever calls them back. That's one. And the second thing I would probably say to any operator, whether it's laundry or any other business, is we do this thing is we thank every client for their order. And people are like, well, yeah, I'll put a note in a bag or they can send them an email or a text message after the order. We take it a step further and we actually have a team member call every client who had an order the previous week to say, thank you for your order. And then we take the time to ask them, like, how was it? Did it meet your satisfaction? Et cetera, et cetera. And it's funny, when we first started doing it, most of the clients in the beginning would answer the phone and be like, so what do you want? We're like, no, we're just calling to say thank you. And they were like, you're not trying to sell me anything? I was like,
right.
No.
Everybody's leery. Right, exactly.
Yeah. And then after a while, they got used to it and they were just like, yeah, hey, thanks for calling. Everything is great. And sometimes we don't get them. We still leave a voicemail. And I think it's just something small to let them know, like, we appreciate them. Like, they can go down the street to the next place, or in this day and age, as you know, they can just download another app or go to another website and use somebody else. So it's just something small, I think makes a big impact.
It is the little things. Absolutely. It's the little touches, reaching out to customers that way. That's great stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm sure like plenty of stores have attendants that have some downtime and they're just like, they clean, the store is neat. Like, and then they're just like, what else do I do? I'm like, pick up the phone and just call some people and say, thanks.
Right. Hey, kind of along the same lines, I recently read an article that you wrote on texting to help build business. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that's helped your business and maybe how other operators can maybe take advantage of SMS marketing in that way?
Yeah, so we use it quite a bit, and I'm always looking at different ways we can engage. So we use it for internal data one. So all of our existing clients, when they come into our system, we'll text them messages sometimes, or we'll text them promotions, and I find it to be really great. Sometimes I think we sent a text out in the article one of the articles you were referring to. I sent a text out about I think we were doing a promotion. I can't remember what it was, and it went to about
Right.
we segmented the list. I think it was about 6,000, 6,500 clients we sent it to, and we had 600 people roughly click on the link to engage with that promotion. And it was amazing because one, we got a ton of orders come in like the next day and the following day because we put a time limit on it. So that's one way we use it internally to market and promotion to clients. Two, we use it to get data from our internal clients. So a lot of times we don't have a lot of information on them, depending how they make it, especially if they walk into the store. You might have their name, their phone number, that's it, because they're a
Right.
walk-in customer. So we use it if they fill out the form when we text them. We also use it to get surveys. So when they fill out that information, their address and additional information like their date of birth, so we can send them happy birthday texts. We'll give them something in return to say, thanks for spending a minute filling out this form. Here's like a 10% coupon you can use the next time you come. And then we use that data. That data becomes a gold mine for us. The birthdays, we have the address. We'll mail stuff to their house, like a card or something to say thank
Right.
you or happy birthday. We also use it to acquire new clients. So we'll link the SMS to QR codes and we'll put them in flyers, or we used to have a big banner in the front of our store. I think it was probably like, I don't know, a couple feet wide and a couple feet tall. And it was like, scan this QR code. It was really big and you'll get 10% off for using us the first time. We actually have it pop up on our website also. And they fill out the form, we capture that information, then we text them a coupon. What I really find good with it is when we finish our order, we'll put a little thank you card in the order with the QR code on it. And they'll scan that QR code and it opens up their text messaging app on their phone. It puts in the keyword automatically and they just hit send. And then it will text them like 3 or 4 questions about their order so we can get that feedback from them. And then we also linked in this option called text to win. So when they finish the survey, it'll automatically enter them in a contest if they click the link.
Mm-hmm.
And every week we choose a winner from anyone that filled out a survey, and they get a gift card of their choice that we mail out to them. I think it's like 25. I think it's about $25. I think I'm going to raise it though in the next couple of weeks.
Perfect. I mean, it's so simple. Something as obvious as texting, but really, there's so many ways that you can use it to help build a business. So that's fascinating. I think a lot of people aren't taking advantage of that or thinking of that. So that's I thought that's brilliant.
Yeah. And it's super easy. Like people think texting, they typically think cell phone. Like I got to sit there and manually do it. No, we do this all from a computer.
Right.
It's 99% automated. So once we set up all the workflows in it and the triggers, the system does this thing in the background and then it sends us a message later on and say, here's the winner. And then we just send them a message to say, what's your address? Well, what gift card do you want? And matter of fact, we even have the system ask them what gift card they want. So we just text them back when they win to say, what address you want us to mail it to? So it's not expensive either. Like depending how many texts you send out a month, it could be anywhere from like $50 a month to like $300 a month.
Right. Perfect.
It's been worth it for us.
Yeah. Yeah. What other ways have you found that work best for promoting your business?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, when we first started the soapbox, so to take a trip back a little bit, we were traditionally self-service. 2015, took over the business from my dad full time. And we realized we were serving 2 different clienteles, 2 different personas. Person who drops it off, it's all about time, convenience, and all those other things for them versus the person who does it themselves in the store. So we opened up the Soapbox, which is a separate brand, separate location. And once we did it, all right, so everybody left the store who was dropping off and started going to the Soapbox. And then I said, well, we have a whole new expense line coming in now because we decided to make this new brand. We leased a new space. I was like, I think we need more people coming in so we can carry this debt and make a profit.
Yeah, right.
So
absolutely.
we went we went to social media. And at that time it was Facebook and Instagram, which is a lot different than it is now. I think there's still opportunity there, but you have to just look at it different. So we built a soapbox on Instagram. Like we posted, I had no idea what to do, Bob. I was just like, take pictures of clothes, take pictures of washing machines, took pictures of ourselves folding. I had no clue. Before I looked up, I was like, oh, we got like 3,000 followers. I guess it's kind of working.
Yeah, right.
But
I think so.
Yeah, but I was like, where's the orders? I was like, 3,000 people with no orders means absolutely nothing.
Right.
So we kept playing, we kept experimenting with it. And then somebody sent a DM to me at about, 12 o'clock at night. And they were like, can you come pick up my clothes right now? And I was like, there's something to this. So we kept playing with it. And then we started running Facebook and Instagram ads. And I had a customer walk into the store one day and they said, if you don't stop showing up in my Facebook feed, we're going to have a problem. Every time I turn around, I see your store popping up. So I was like, I guess it works. And, they weren't like super mad. They were just like, what are you doing? And I was just like, bring us your laundry. You'll stop seeing us. So that was one. I think Facebook and Instagram, how you use it is still valuable today. 2, Google. Now, Google, there's like 2 sides of it. The way we look at it, there's the paid side, Google Ads, which I think is great, because it's intent. Someone is searching because they want something. They're not just searching for the fun of it. Like on social media, they're just scrolling, consuming content. Somebody's on Google. It's intent based. They're looking for something to take action. Right. The thing is, from what I see in our market, I can't speak to others. The prices have really gotten expensive for buying the ads on Google. The other part of Google we look at and I find really interesting is Google My Business. And I think a lot of businesses aren't really capitalizing on it. So, and when I say capitalizing on it, they're filling out the information for their listing, they optimize it, and that's great. But I think it's a step beyond that. And I can't prove this, Bob. I have no data to support it. Like Google's probably not going to let me look under the hood and tell me anything. But I looked at what's happened with us and look at the surveys and we ask customers when they come in the store. When we post on Google My Business, I see a big difference in our stats on Google My Business, like the number of phone calls that come in through Google My Business, the number of views. You can go look at the stats on Google My Business and it shows you they always spike when we start posting. And on Google My Business, you can post events. So you can post text, you can post images, and you can post video. I think that's huge. What laundromat should and dry cleaners should post, that's up to each individual to find out because of their market. But I think if you start doing something, it's better than doing nothing. And it's had an impact on our business. So I believe those are great. The other one is obviously word of mouth, how to get your clients to talk about your business more. And that goes back to some of the things you mentioned earlier, like the customer service, customer support. Even when things go wrong, doing these little things here or these big things to help them out, it gives them the option to go back and tell their community, be like, yeah, they shrunk my pants, but I couldn't believe, like, they called me right away. They were very attentive. They sent a driver over to pick up the item that got damaged and they said they would do this. And they tried to fix it, but they couldn't. And guess what? They brought me another pair of pants, or, they reimbursed me what the actual, whatever the current cost is minus depreciation or whatever the case might be. Right. That word of mouth is great. Or you just do a great job. And the other one that I think is really important too, and I'll probably say Google My Business and this one are like neck and neck for us, is UGC, user generated content. And I don't think in our industry we're capitalizing that on enough. And I saw 2 instances where it really hit home for me. One time was we started wrapping our socks, which was some crazy idea I came up with many, many years ago. Because I was like, how do we make this experience better? It's clothes. What else can we do to wow them? And a client made a video. It still blows my mind to this day, Bob. She made a video of her socks when she opened her laundry bag and she posted it all over her Instagram and was like, and she's holding them or she's like moving the camera. She's like, look at my socks from the soap box. They match them and they wrap them. And I was like, really? I was like, And then
you can't buy that kind of promotion, right? Yeah.
No, right? And then like I look down below and like I see her community commenting on it or liking it, and I'm like, it sucks. I'm like, okay, like I think there's something here. So
Yeah.
we like would take those videos and we would repost them on our social, tag the client, thank them to really kind of keep the momentum going.
Right.
The other time I saw it was recent, not too long ago, because we doing sneaker cleaning also. So that's the other pirate part of us. We're doing things that you typically don't see. Like, so we do laundry, we do dry cleaning, and we do sneaker cleaning. Those are our three revenue lines at our store, nothing else.
Right.
We had a client bring in a pair of sneakers, fairly expensive, more than $500 sneakers.
Right.
And, I put on the gloves like they do in the museum and handle those with care because I don't want anything to happen to those sneakers.
No, you don't. Right.
I do not want to buy those. So she had, and I didn't know this until she tagged us on Instagram after she picked up her sneakers. So she had made a video prior to her bringing us her sneakers of how dirty her sneakers were. And she was like, I'm going to have to throw these away. They're no good. And she brought them to us. We did our thing on them, sent them back to her. And then I get a notification on Instagram and I look, and she took her original video where her sneakers were really dirty and then merged it with a new video she made of the finished product after we cleaned them. And the first things that come out of her mouth is, look at what the soapbox did. It's the best $65 I've ever spent. And then, Bob, she has 22,000 people in her community on Instagram.
Wow.
And I scroll, her comments are on fire. People are like, where'd you take them? Wow, they looked really bad in the beginning. They did a good job, et cetera, et cetera. So user-generated content, I think, is phenomenal too.
Right. So that's how the sneaker cleaning segment of your business started, with just this one woman bringing you her shoes, or was this an idea that you had come up with, and this was one of your first clients in the sneaker cleaning business? How did that start? Because that is unusual.
I take zero credit for it. So the story goes, we've been doing sneakers about, let's say, a year and a half, give or take.
Okay.
And it started with one of our clients who would bring us dry cleaning. And one day she just comes up to me and was like, I want to start my own business. What do I need to do? Great. You do this, you do this, you do this. And people ask for advice all the time in business. And I always try to be positive and give them the best. And in my mind, I'm like, how many people actually follow through on it? So I was like, what? I'm going to give her everything she needs. What she does with it's on her. I did my part. I can sleep at night.
Right.
And I don't know, 3-4 months go by, Bob, and she shows up in the store. She's like, okay, I did everything you said. Here's the paperwork. Here's the proof. What do I do next? So I'm like, okay, well, now go get a bank account. Go do this. Go do that. Go do that. She disappears for like another couple months, and then she shows back up and she was like, I did it all, and I'm in business, and I'm cleaning sneakers. And I was like, awesome. Like, that's great. So, and I can't remember exactly how the conversation went, but, we were just talking, and I think she asked me, like, how does she get more clients? Like, how should she build the business up? And I just looked at her, and I don't know, Bob, something just clicked. And I was like, are you really serious about this thing? She was like, yeah, like, I love sneakers. I'm really passionate about them. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, how about this? We do laundry, we do dry cleaning. I'm always looking to figure out, how do we get more penetration into people's closets? Like, I want to own people's closets, service our clients better from head to toe. And I was like, we were always missing the toe part. We had the clothes, that's your upper and your lower part of your body, but we didn't have anything with feet.
Right.
I was like, okay, let's do a partnership. We'll advertise it. I'll market it. Our drivers will pick them up. People can bring them to our store, and you clean them, and we'll figure out some kind of deal on that.
Right.
She was like, great. We started out, kind of slow in the beginning. We marketed. People started coming. Then it got a little busy. And she would pick up sneakers, take them to her location, clean them, and bring them back. Then it got to the point she was like, Waleed, I have to take quite a few sneakers out of here and like moving them back and forwards. Like, I don't know. We need to figure something else out. I'm just not a little too comfortable doing that. It's so many of them. And I was like, you know what? Why don't you just work out the store? So we set up a space in the store. We did that. And we did that for about, I'd say, a little over a year. And then the business grew to a certain extent. we had a mutual discussion, and she was like, I really want to grow my brand and go to the next level. It's like, we support you 100%. So then she ventured off, and we still do the sneaker cleaning. We do it all in-house. But that was the start of it. It was just a client who came in, had a dream to start their business. We partnered for a little while. It
Right.
grew, and now we're both still in the game doing sneakers and growing and serving the industry together.
Well, what are some challenges with cleaning sneakers? Because I would imagine you would get into that and you have no idea how to go about that, or I'm not sure how that works and how that plays in. And what are some challenges with getting those clean? Because, like you said, you
Bob,
don't want to ruin a pair of shoes.
yeah, Bob, it's super easy. You just get a toothbrush, you get some dishwashing liquid and some laundry
Okay.
detergent, and you scrub it, just like we did when we were kids. No, I'm just kidding. Like, don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that. It worked when we were kids, but this day and age, the fabrics and the materials and the dyes that they use, it's just so different than when we were growing up. Like, when we were growing up, sneakers were like leather and canvas. You could just do whatever.
Right.
Now it's suede and nubuck and all synthetics and natural materials and all these blends. So we did a lot of experimentation. We would test different products. So we use a variety of products. We don't use just one brand.
Okay.
We found the best item in each brand line. So the best cleaner, the best brushes, the best sponges, the best paint, all those different, we tested them over time, like the best conditioners, the best oils. It's not really hard, but there is some science and there's a system to it. And once you build out your system and you follow that routine, it makes it a lot easier and it makes it a lot simpler. And one thing we did is we went to like thrift stores and we would buy old sneakers there, and then we would practice cleaning on those. So if we messed those up, no problem, because we don't want to mess a client's sneakers up at all. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, what segment of your laundry business is performing best right now?
It's, we're fortunate. And I know it's a big talk of the recession and how the economy's doing and all the layoffs you hear in tech now.
Right.
And there's a thing that, you hear in all the YouTube videos now, and it's the big talk, like everybody should get into laundry. It's a recession-proof business. And I wouldn't say it's recession-proof. I believe we're insulated more than other businesses due to, one, we were deemed essential, and during COVID, it really showed the tenacity of laundromats, of laundry owners, of the team members at the laundromats. Let's be absolutely clear, because my team kept our store open during COVID, not me. Like, I was there, but they were doing the work. And we voted when COVID really got crazy and they were shutting businesses down, and we got deemed essential. And, thanks to the great efforts of, team members at CLA and other organizations, we had a meeting, and I said, guys, and girls, it's totally up to you. We'll sit here and figure this out, but we're going to only stay open if you're comfortable working during COVID. And they all voted, and they said yes. And I was like, okay, here's masks, here's sanitizer, whatever we need, we're in the game. Right. And when that happened, we kind of started preparing ourselves. And I think it happened unconsciously. I don't want to say it was some master plan we had, because I would challenge anybody to show me a business plan or a growth plan that had COVID in it, and they were going to build their business a certain way. Right. But I think that, and being in a recession before, when I was younger, in my parents' business, when we had the laundromat, and just experiencing that, we just did things, I think, subconsciously that prepared us for where we are now. Right. So we added other revenue streams. We built these relationships with our clients. We started going after commercial business, which is, the CLA survey, I think it was an article you wrote that said that only 31% of laundromats go after commercial business. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's like low hanging fruit for us. So those things, I think, have insulated us better than a typical business, or maybe even a typical laundry service, depending, what they're experiencing. So our dry cleaning, we do corporate and residential. It's been holding pretty steady throughout where we are. Our wash and fold has been about the same. And our sneaker cleaning took a little dip. And I think some of it was due to just to talking and people not spending extra money. But then we saw it kind of get close back to where it was. So they're all doing about the same, thank goodness.
Okay, very good, very good. Well, hey, as if you're not busy enough, you've also launched a newsletter called Wash Weekly, which I read religiously on Sundays
Thank
as it
you.
hits my inbox as soon as it hits. What was the thought behind that, and how's that going?
It's going well. Right now, we're just working to drive more eyeballs to it to figure out how do we put it in front of more readers who would really be interested in it.
Okay.
Um, and the reason we did it was when I first started, I could lean on like my dad and my uncles because they were in the business for years. But once I started doing dry cleaning, sneaker cleaning, and pickup and
Right.
delivery, I couldn't go dad or uncle, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
Because they were like, we never did that, so I don't know. Like, I can give you my opinion on it, but I can't give you, my expertise on it from actually doing it.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of trial and error for us. Even when I did delivery, I went like local laundromats. The community wasn't the same then as it is now. There's always pockets of people in our industry who want to share and embrace each other. But in New York, it is very, very competitive. And there are laundromats across the street from each other in my neighborhood, like literally across the street
Right.
from each other. So you can't go over there and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to get this done or I'm having a problem. Could you give me some advice? They're like, no, I'm not telling you anything because if I tell you something, it's going to take away from my business. And I, I didn't struggle with it, but it was a challenge and it was very frustrating to me because I had come from, teaching real estate and then a security firm. Those communities, like I go to the teacher's classroom next door and be like, hey, like I'm having trouble with my lesson plan, or what'd you
Mhm.
use as an example to teach, this math subject? And they'd be like, oh yeah, here, look at my lesson plan, or here's the workbooks I used, or here's some of the worksheets I created. Like, go help yourself.
Right.
And it just wasn't like that. So I was like, I want to share what we're doing,
Mhm.
how we did it. So those who are either in the industry or thinking about coming to industry, they could get past those hurdles a lot faster than
Right.
we did.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool to help people. I
Absolutely.
just think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the free flow of information, and again, you get a nice product, and I know I enjoy it. So, any future plans within the laundry industry media beyond that newsletter?
One day at a time, Bob. I'm just don't create
I
any more
understand.
jobs for me,
No, no,
please.
no, no. You're busy enough
Yeah.
as it is.
Yeah.
Hey,
Listen.
uh, again, kind of along those same lines, how do you view your
Mhm.
role with regard to social media and social media influence?
Well, that influencer thing is so big these days,
Yeah.
with brands and businesses and even individuals. Like I'll hear some of my younger family members, nieces or nephews or their friends, and they're like, "Yeah, I want to be a social media influencer when I grow up. That's going to be my job." And let's be absolutely clear: there are tons of people out there who are producing great quality content on different mediums and are making tons of money just through their content, from sponsorships, brand alignments, all types of things, and
Hmm.
even selling their own products, whether it's digital or physical. And they're
Right.
making tons of money doing it, which is great. Kudos to them. Um, I just look at it as not an influencer. It's just making people more aware of
Mhm.
what's out there and what we're doing. And listen, if it grows, I'm super thankful to the community and anyone who's willing to join in, or as those platforms would say, follow. Where I think it's more of connecting and joining.
Right.
Um, it's just more of that. Like, how can we just connect more
Hmm.
and embrace each other, share and help? Like, someone reached out to me who's like in the UK, and I was just like, I would never be able to do that if it wasn't for social media, to connect with somebody in the
Right.
UK about laundry or just business in general. So
Right.
it's
Right.
no definitive plan or how I view it as an influencer.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to connect people and share good things.
Right. Right. Waleed, do you have a business philosophy that guides your decisions?
It's that's a good question, Bob. And I would say it's just do what's right.
Mhm.
And that's
Perfect.
what we've kind of lived by in all of our businesses, like have empathy and just do what's right.
Mm-hmm.
And in the laundry business, my manager sent me a Slack the other day, and she's like, "Yeah, somebody had an issue with a T-shirt, and there was a stain on it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how it got there, but what I believe, and it only happened with this one item. There was no black marks on any of her clothes. So I think one or two things happened. There was some kind of marker or pen in the machine, and it got wrapped up with that shirt, so it only stained that shirt. Or somebody had a marker on the table when they were writing something, didn't move it, and somehow it ended up on this shirt.
Right.
And it's a Gap T-shirt. It's not super expensive. And I tell the team, listen, if it was you and you went into an establishment, what would you want to happen? And they always say, like, at first I want someone just to acknowledge me, probably say I'm sorry, and then make it right some kind of way, acknowledge me. And I'm like, okay, so just do that. Like, how much the shirt cost? $25, $30? Right. It's like, tell her we'll give her that in credit if she wants it to store, or we'll gladly give her a Gap gift card or whatever. Like, we want to make it right. And I know that's a big thing in our industry. People, we're just using that example of like refunds and giving people money because then people take advantage. And what I've learned is, one, I got a lot of gray hairs, Bob. I don't want any more. And I'm trying to avoid them any way I can. And I just need peace of mind. Like, when I go to sleep at night, I want my conscience to be clear. So I tell a team, like, just do what's right. Like, work really hard to think about it before you say no, or before you say yes, or before you go left or go right. What do you think is the right thing to do? Not by the business, not by our bank account, but by that individual. And I probably, that's more of our guiding principle, philosophy.
Very good. Very good. Hey, what advice can you share with potential investors that maybe you wish you knew when you were first considering getting back into the laundry business or getting into it full time? What do you wish you knew that you could share with someone?
There you go, bringing the pirate out of me now, Bob. So one is, I would say, don't let the status quo be your blinders. And when I say that, like, if you ever seen a horse, when they put on blinders, they want that horse just looking one way the whole time, straight down the track. Don't look left, don't look right. And that works for a horse in a race because you want that horse to get to the finish line before everybody else. Focus. And I do believe in being laser focused and getting things done. But for an investor, I say that to say, like, try different things. Maybe not be a pirate, but, be the first mate or be a deckhand and like see these different things that are going on and say, listen, tried and true got us to where we are. But tried and true is not going to get us into the next 10, 15, 20 years in this industry. And our industry is probably, 7, 8 years behind a lot of other industries when it comes to technologies and some of the advancement, but we're starting to catch up. There's a lot of new things coming out, a lot of companies putting a lot of money and resources into, developing tech and different hardware and equipment in our industry now. So I would say, yeah, don't have the blinders on, think different. Mm-hmm. And, don't always do what people tell you can't do. And I've had a lot of people tell me what we couldn't do in our business. They told me, don't do sneakers. They told me, don't do dry cleaning. They told me, don't do delivery with gig economy. And we did it, and we're still here. So fingers crossed for the next 10 years.
Absolutely. Where do you turn personally for advice?
Yeah, that's a good one. I look a couple different places. So one, I look outside our industry. I look at other industries to see what are they doing to like overcome certain obstacles or challenge or to grow or even to innovate, or, how do they solve a problem? If they have a problem with getting in, how do they deal with customers contacting them through numerous channels, by phone, by text, by email, by social? How do they deal with it? So that's where I learned about omni-channel communication, by looking at other industries.
Right.
That's one place I look at. Then the other thing I go to for advice, which is probably not traditional, I do a lot of experimenting. Like, there's a lot of trial and error that goes on in our shop. and in my office at home. Like, it's a lot of stuff piled around, like printers. You should see how many Epson receipt printers I have. I got a lot of those things. Tablets, barcode scanners. Like, I'm always experimenting to say, like, how could we like push it to the next level? How could we get faster?
Right.
So experimentation. And then obviously my business partner, Jessica, who's my wife also, I go to her quite a bit to bounce things off. And I go to my team members. I'll ask them, like, they're on the front lines. I'm like, what do you think if we did this and that? And, I'm a little guilty. I'll kind of have my mind made up a little bit, but I still ask them to see if they'll either agree with me or disagree with me. Right. And then the last person I go to is, he's not biologically related to me, but as far as I'm concerned, he is my Uncle Mike. And he's a mentor of mine. And I go to Uncle Mike because he's done what I'm doing in a different way. So he was in the laundry industry like 20, 30 years ago.
Okay.
And he was implementing and trying to do some of the things that we're doing now. And he has planted a lot of the seeds in my head for like customer service and experimenting with different things. And when he was doing it, and he shared stories with me, he worked with a big brand back then, which I'll leave nameless. And he would tell me how they would be like, don't do that. You're stupid. Like, this is never going to work. And he was one of the first guys to like get a laundromat like over $1.5 million in revenue. Like, he was really pioneering it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where I typically go.
Perfect. Hey, last question for you, Waleed, and I really appreciate your time. It's been a pleasure chatting with you today. The future of the laundromat business in 3 words.
Closets, data, and experiential. Those are the 3 words I got for you. It's simple.
Yes.
You got to get more stuff. We got to get in their closets more, get more stuff out of our clients' closets. We got to use data in a ton of different ways in our industry. And we got to look at how do we make more experiences for our clients, self-service as well as on the service side.
That's perfect. Hey, is there anything that I didn't ask you or that you would like to get out to people listening to this about the industry, about your journey in the industry? Anything that maybe I didn't ask?
Nothing I can think of. I would just share with anyone who's in the industry or thinking of getting in the industry. I would just say, go to the different events, network with people, talk. There's a lot of great operators out there with a lot of great ideas and a lot of great practices that they're willing to share with you that will put you way ahead of the curve when you first open up that business or get you unstuck from where you are now in your current business. So that's what I would really throw out there for everyone.
Perfect. Waleed, again, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this.
Bob, it was a pleasure, and I greatly appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for joining us on our podcast today. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to Planet Laundry at PlanetLaundry.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube.